everyone, it's Jay here, and these are the manga and manhwa releases for the second half of January. I'm still not fully well, so my voice does sound a bit weird and I'm coughing a bit, but that's okay, because we're getting a lot of manga and manhwa today. So we're going to start with the Kodansha releases, Dogs and Punching Bags, on the 21st of January. So after leaving her isolating life in Tokyo, 34-year-old Nichiko returns to her remote island hometown for her estranged alcoholic father's final days. There she meets Chimaki, an eccentric young man who stirs up old memories and feelings Nichiko had all but decided she no longer deserved. But despite his puppy-like enthusiasm for life, Chimaki's almost obsessive need to help those around him seems to be compensating for an unspeakable past. A new series called Dra-Q, high schooler Amelie Kurosaki isn't like the other girls. She's secretly a vampire, which means she can't smile, her fangs will show. She can't cry, her eyes will glow red, and she absolutely, positively cannot fall in love with a human. Love leads to bloodlust. The problem is, Amelie can't help staring wistfully whenever she sees a certain third-year delinquent known as Paco. Then, a fateful incident after school results in a surprise confession, followed by an even more shocking attack that reveals Amelie's true nature. Can a rough and tumble delinquent and a strong vampire with a soft side make an unlife together? Gachiakuta Volume 5. Rudo swore to return to the sphere and avenge a death. After receiving an eyewitness report that people had been seen coming and going from the sphere to the ground, the cleaners followed the rumour all the way to No Man's Land to find the mysterious woman with the information Rudo needs. But then something goes horribly wrong. An engine seems to be out for the count. Kei X Yaku Volume 4. The truth of the Joker case is finally laid bare, and new revelations shine a light on an even graver incident never truly put to rest, the explosion of the Tetra building 20 years ago. Haunted by the event that shaped the man he has become, Ichiro must either learn to accept help when pursuing the thread of his past, or risk going down a path of no return. Ninja vs. Gokudo Volume 5. With the nation under threat of terrorism, the Prime Minister takes unconventional steps to forge diplomatic ties and protect the public. Meanwhile, the ninja and yakuza bring their turf war to the Prime Minister's residence. However, the government officials, with their own shady motives, are not exactly innocent bystanders. When a rogue gang of killers with a grudge starts a massacre amid all the pomp and circumstance, no one is safe, not even family. Shimazaki in the Land of Peace Volume 2. Forced to become a covert operative for the international terrorist group LEL, Shingo Shimazaki has escaped and is back in his native Japan, doing his best to live a peaceful life. He has a job at a local coffee shop where he feels happy and comfortable, until the arrival of a certain wayward young man brings a world of trouble down on his beloved cafe, Lupasso. Will Shimazaki be forced to use the skills he learned in war to secure his own peace? The Great Cleric Volume 12. Luciel and his friends rush into the labyrinth after Shahrzar, but when they finally catch up to him, they're confronted by a mighty red dragon as well. Backed into a corner and unable to retreat, Luciel makes a daring move. The Iceblade Sorcerer Shall Rule the World Volume 12. This series is about Ray White entering the Arnold Academy of Magic, a school for the elite. But Ray is just an ordinary guy. In fact, he doesn't seem particularly skilled with magic at all, and is a bit of a klutz. In this one, Ray's friends are about to learn just how closely intertwined his history is with the former Iceblade sorcerers. Gazing at the Star Next Door Volume 4. Subaru kisses Chiaki, but only to give her a reason to back off. Wounded, Chiaki agrees to a spontaneous day trip with her workmate, Takahashi-kun. Will Subaru's true feelings ever come out? Hitori Jime My Hero Volume 15. Masahiro has moved in with Kosuke, and things are happier and more bustling than ever as the Oshibas welcome the birth of their third child. But Kosuke is becoming increasingly frustrated with his relationship's cooling intimacy. Is this what married life is like? And what's this about a stalker? Honeko Akabane's Bodyguards Volume 1. Delinquent high schooler Arakuni Ibuki is drafted to protect his childhood friend, Akabane, The secret daughter of a Yakuza leader, it's no small task, especially when they're up against hired assassins who have just one job: to kill Akabane. Ibuki joins the elite corps of bodyguards that make up Class 3-4 of Sosoji High School. Akabane is oblivious to the elaborate covert operation surrounding her. Is this team of misfits really up for the job? Suzume Volume 3. A certain disaster threatens to decimate Tokyo. Sota asks Suzume to help him make the ultimate sacrifice. Now, desperate to save Sota from an eternity in the cold, Suzume sets off on one last trip back to the site of her greatest tragedy, in hopes of digging up memories that could provide the key to rescuing Sota and to the door of her destiny. Topu GP Volume 13. Topu Uno focuses on his next international race, the Spanish Grand Prix. Meanwhile, Topu's teammate and rival, Rosa Maria, will be forced to go head-to-head with her cousin, Giulio, who will cross the finish line first. It has been a while since the previous release, which came out in March 2024. Seven Fates Chaco Volume 6. With every hard-fought battle, Team Chaco gets one step closer to the truth about their shared fate. But as they begin to grasp the bigger picture, an uncomfortable question looms. Are the Biome the true threat to Cincy? Their quest for answers leads the seven hunters to the world of shadows, the home of the very enemies they have been fighting. Akko and Bambi Volume 4. As the distinctions between Akko and Yamashiro become more and more defined, Akko's ghostly form has become less phantasmic. However, the question remains, can Akko and Yamashiro ever become fully fledged beings in their own right? Or will an important part of them always be missing? If you ask amateur novelist Bambi's opinion, well, after spending so much time with Akko, he can't imagine life without her anymore. Beware the Villainess Volume 2. A handsome prince declaring his undying love for you at a grand ball. It's what every girl dreams of, but not Melissa Fodderbrat. She knows that behind his charming smile, Ian is an insufferable, womanizing man-child. She is desperately searching for a way to dump him before he publicly announces their marriage. That's when she spots a mysterious beggar collapse on the street and a devilish plot begins to take shape. Moving on to the next-gen press release, we have Bungo Stray Dogs Dazai Chuya Age 15, Volume 3. Dazai and Chuya have the culprit behind this case pegged at last, but what was the villain's motive? From the truth about Arahabaki to the mystery of the old boss's resurrection, all the secrets are finally revealed. Call the Name of the Night Volume 5. Fearful that she would call the night and bring harm upon others, Mira has been staying with the good doctor Rei to search for a cure. Rei thinks she's almost all better, if she can just pass one final test, venture into town all by herself. Is Mira ready to brave the whole wide world? Cheerful Amnesia Volume 5. The wedding ceremony is finally here, and Mari and Arisa are about to seal their vows with a kiss, until a certain sight causes Arisa's memories to come flooding back. The pair's relationship before Arisa's amnesia finally comes to light. Days with My Stepsister Volume 2. A month has passed since Yuta and Saki have become siblings. They agreed to keep a respectful distance from each other, but when Yuta's attractive co-worker asks him out on a date, Saki finds a strange new emotion welling up in her heart. A new series called Everyone's Darling Has a Secret. Hisashi Hiruno, a freshman at a super elite high school, has just finished his first academic proficiency test of the year. He anxiously awaits the results, which will set the tone for his next 3 years at school. But due to a mistake on his answer sheet, he receives an abysmal score and gets sent to remedial lessons. If there's one silver lining, he's not the only one, and his comrade could be the girl of his dreams. From Old Country Bumpkin to Master Swordsman, my hotshot disciples are all grown up now and they won't leave me alone. Volume 2. That's a long title. Old Swordsmaster Beryl Gardinant has become a special instructor for the Order of Knights. His former disciple Serena, now a black rank adventurer, asks him to help her go on a dungeon attack. Though he has almost no dungeon attacking experience, Beryl accepts her request, but representatives from the Adventurers Guild doubt his strength. Goblin Slayer Side Story 2 Dai Katana Volume 7. Our heroic party has reached the 4th floor of the Dungeon of the Dead. Deeper than any have delved before. They have defeated fierce foes and marched through tangled mazes, but an unexpected revelation may halt their progress in its tracks. Hakumei and Mikochi, Tiny Little Life in the Woods Volume 12. Hakumei is coerced into participating in an event with cuteness as its theme. Maya-chan, the port town's old-timer and the owner of Ossicle, suddenly goes on vacation. Meanwhile, Konju and Sen work hard at cooking. Longtime companions surprise each other with unknown sides of themselves in this heart-racing 12th volume, and Harushina, the black mink bladesmith, makes a reappearance. A new series called Hell is Dark with No Flowers. Seiji Tono sometimes sees the people around him as monsters. It's a curse that has driven him to a life of despair. But all that changes one evening when he stumbles across a bewitchingly beautiful boy in a huge European mansion. The boy introduces himself as Shiroshi Saijo, and before he knows it, Seiji has agreed to become Shiroshi's part-time assistant. It turns out that Shiroshi's proxy service is to consign yokai-possessed sinners to hell, which will bring Seiji face to face with an unimaginable host of horrors. Another new series, I'm Here Beside You. Ibuki Doi has never forgotten his first love from high school, Mikami Baba, the kind, handsome, and totally straight student council president. Though he was too shy to approach Mikami back then, Ibuki always held his idol near and dear to his heart, wishing him nothing but the best. However, when he learns Mikami is soon to be married to a man, he just can't help it. He's absolutely devastated. He drinks himself into a stupor to drown his sorrow, but is surprised to wake up and find he's back in high school. Could this be Ibuki's second chance to make things go his way? Itaewon Class Volume 4. With Yuseo as its manager, Honey Night has shaped up and gained traction. The new buzz comes with an undesirable consequence though. The watchful eye of Chairman Jang, Seiroi's nemesis. Recruiting Suwa for an ambush, Chairman Jang moves to tamp out any spark of competition. Kowloon Generic Romance Volume 9. Ordinary memories of a world where no one is at fault are sorrowfully reflected in Kujirai's glasses. But what does Kudo think of the world? What if Kowloon disappears? It doesn't matter if it's a tragedy, because the future absolutely is up to oneself. Beyond the emotions that are conveyed and the everyday life that passes by, the true form of Kowloon is revealed. Lord Hades' Ruthless Marriage Volume 3. Ever since Kore, goddess of spring, somehow got Hades tangled up in a ridiculous search for a queen, he has met dozens of eligible goddesses and bluntly turned down every one. But they're still coming. Even the goddess of love herself is prepared to take the jaunt down to the underworld to try her charms. Try as all Olympus might, though, Hades cannot be rude. And yet there is something about Kore, his captive who started it all, yet stays resolutely out of contention. Miss Savage Fang Volume 2. Envil, the Savage Fang, was the strongest merc around. They called him a magicless pleb, but it never stopped him from opening their throats with his sword, until he died and reincarnated into the body of Mylene, the same tyrant he helped depose. He might have her body and her magic, but he'll need to learn how to use it first. Flanked by the spineless boy Mylene's parents had arranged for her to marry one day, and Princess Colette from the neighbouring empire, they enroll at the Magic Academy. Sure, the homework might be boring, but missing persons and a viral new drug means there's a lot more to this school than meets the eye. Overgeared Volume 6. The Earl Stein's daughter, Irene, is quite smitten with Grid following his recent heroics, and he's first in line for her hand in marriage. He finally has a chance to gain what he's been searching for his whole life: love, and more importantly, the sweet tax money from becoming the Lord of Winston. Before he can tie the knot, however, Grid has to take care of some unfinished business, like recovering his legendary class shield that was stolen. But is he ready to take on an entire religion to get it back? I'm Just a Passing Beast Tamer Volume 5. Kanata makes her way to the Holy City, where Fen-Fen's main body is sleeping, but the city is ruled by Marianne, a false saint. Having power exceeding that of the saints, Kanata's existence is a nuisance to Marianne. Thus, she frames Kanata as a heretical witch, who worships fluff and calls for her execution. Kanata, undeterred by the target on her back, sallies forth to find the fluff. Sasaki and Miyano Volume 10. Now that the reading BL is no longer just hobby for Miyano, but also the story of his life, it's almost time for the college arc. However, before he gets to that, Miyano's final cultural festival of his high school career is just around the corner. Meanwhile, his adorably sweet boyfriend Sasaki is struggling to figure out what his path forward should be. Shadow's House Volume 8. The inspection of the children's wing begins. On the surface, the Starbearers are hoping it ends quickly, without incident. But between the adults' hidden agenda, the fact that the brainwashing effect of the special coffee is quickly fading, and the forces lurking in the shadows who desire nothing but the downfall of the house, the outcome of the inspection is anyone's guess. She Loves to Cook and She Loves to Eat Volume 5. Nomoto-san and Kasuga-san have decided to live together, but apartment hunting as a same-sex couple has been quite the stormy voyage. Luckily, Yako-san connects them with a realtor that may be able to help, and slowly but surely the pair move toward their new life together. Meanwhile, Nagumo-san has taken a good look at herself, and she decides to pay a visit to the hospital. Shy Volume 9. This is set in an age when superpowered defenders from each country have brought peace to the world. Japan's representative is a timid young girl known as Shy. In this one, Amara Riruku has shattered the black sphere over Tokyo, spilling out a mysterious miasma that turns everyone it touches into monsters. Mai readies herself to stop it at the cost of her own life, but Shy is determined to save her former enemy too, and she's not the only one. Spring Storm and Monster Volume 2. Ranko's new stepdad and brother have moved into her house, and this boy is going to be the death of her. They already live together, but now he wants to go to her school too. Still, she finds him slightly endearing, so despite the monster lurking behind his eyes, she just can't leave him be. SSS Class Revival Hunter Volume 2. His revenge complete, Gongja is finally ready to take on the tower. He reaches the 10th floor, which is yet to be conquered in this timeline, the perfect test to check how much stronger he is now. Will Gongja successfully become the first person to conquer the 10th floor and rewrite history? Sword Art Online Kiss and Fly Volume 3. Witness the first steps in the story of the girl who would one day become the infamous Seken. Leaving behind the VR hospice program Serene Garden, Yuki and her older sister Ran follow their new friend Merida into the Japanese-style RPG Asuka Empire. Astounded by the twins' rapid progress, Merida questions how they acclimated so fast, leading Ran to divulge that they're running the game on modified nerve gear, the same technology used to dive into SAO. The Boxer Volume 9. Yu has almost conquered the boxing world, and all that's left is to defeat Iron Tide and claim the heavyweight belt. But before their long-awaited match, Tide's sudden retirement throws a wrench in that plan. Despite the setback, Kei continues to prepare Yu as if the fight will happen. Volume 9 of the Holy Grail of Eris. Connie has finally solved the mystery of Lily Olamun's key and discovered the true meaning of the Holy Grail of Eris. Now the story rewinds to the past, allowing a glimpse into the life of the woman who left the cryptic message. The Remarried Empress Volume 9. Wedding bells are ringing. Navier and Henry's big day is swiftly approaching, and with it comes dignitaries from near and far. A jealous Duke Kaufman, a rage-addled Rashtar, and a desperate Sovieshu. The lines of friend and foe start to blur, and if Henry isn't careful, he may just fall victim to a devious revenge plot. I'm excited to read this, but I really dislike the facial expression on the front cover. I think it's really bad. This Monster Wants to Eat Me Volume 3. Hinako is shocked to discover her childhood friend Miko is actually a monster. But monster or not, it was Miko who brought Hinako back from the depths of despair. The human girl once more extends a hand of friendship as the beast's jaws close around her. Toilet-Bound Hanako-kun Volume 21. It's autumn at Kamome Academy and the annual school festival is underway. While Nene and her friends are busy with preparations, a select few begin carrying out their plot in the shadows. They have their eyes set on the Yorishiro of number 1 of the 7 school mysteries, the Clock Keeper. When supernaturals burst onto the scene, what was supposed to be a fun school festival turns into an unexpected crisis. Togen Anki Legend of the Cursed Blood Volume 2. No one ever tried to murder Shiki on his first day of school before, but then again, He'd never attended Rasetsu Academy, a school designed to train Oni in the age-old conflict against the Momotaro before. Shiki and Jin's bickering turns bloody as a timid Homura watches her only teammates try to rip each other to shreds. But when her Oni blood awakens, the boys will have to pause their little deathmatch if they want to make it out of the forest alive. Tsubakicho Lonely Planet Volume 9. While Goro recuperates, the sincere and straightforward Uneda takes over as Akatsuki's editor. As she watches them, Fumi can't help but feel anxious about how compatible the two seem to be. Then she overhears that Uneda and Akatsuki are set to go on a research trip to Kyoto, alone. Your Former Volume 2. Begrudgingly partnering with the humanoid robot Amicus Harold, Echika finds herself investigating crimes caused by a new type of virus. Her partner, as always, is perfect, so why does she hate the Amicus so much? As the investigation progresses, unexpected revelations from her past start to emerge, leading the investigation in unforeseen directions. Elden Ring The Road to the Erd Tree Volume 5. Now as he makes his way through Limgrave, Asio finally embarks on his search for Caelid. What kinds of environments, enemies and characters await him in this fearsome land? A new series called I Picked Up This World's Strategy Guide. Sana is the hard-working daughter of a shop owner, and she often ventures out into the forest to gather the herbs needed for the restorative potions they sell. But on one trip, she happens to pick up a mysterious strategy guide for a game, and it's filled with detailed information about her town, those around her, and even what's yet to come. However, the future may not be at all what she expects. With such a powerful and dangerous book in hand, what will Sana do? Takashi from the Bike Shop Volume 1. From unwanted advances from her boss and work dumped on her by her co-workers, 30-year-old Tomoko Hano, or Panko for short, struggles to stand up for herself. But when her rusty bike breaks down, she meets Ryohei Takahashi from the neighbourhood bike repair shop. Although he can be a bit overbearing, Panko finds herself relying on his considerate nature and her world begins to shift. The Colour of the End Mission in the Apocalypse Volume 1. A girl walks alone in a world without humans. Her mission, to search for survivors and cleanse the land. But is anyone still out there in the lonely, beautiful ruins, waiting to be found? I think this front cover is absolutely stunning. I really, really like it. Volume 2 of When the Villainess Seduces the Main Heroine. Though time has passed since Sei moved in with Akuya, the flirtatious couple's hot and steamy romance continues unabated. Together with the cat Nora and Akuya's nursemaid Yaba, but little do the two lovers know that trouble looms on the horizon, ready to disturb their happiness. Moving on to the Titan Comics releases, we have Welcome to Ghost Mansion Volume 1. Kaoru Shinonome, who had been living as a freelancer, invests her inheritance in property and buys a vast old condominium. Her dream life as a wealthy landlord is about to begin, but there are no living tenants, only spirits, and her new property is a rollercoaster ride of psychic phenomena. Kaoru embraces her new spectre-filled life as the owner of Ghost Mansion and starts recruiting for new non-living residents. After God Volume 2. So this is from Viz and it's released on the 21st of January. Waka claims she's sworn to kill the gods, but with eyes like hers, how can she possibly be trusted? As it turns out, Waka's not the only one with secrets. The Institute has been developing their own weapons against the gods, and unless Waka can hold her own against them, she may not survive long enough to prove she's telling the truth. Record of Ragnarok Volume 13. Zerofuku's transformation into Hajun, the legendary berserker of Helheim, has the crowd stunned. Only Hades seems to have any insight into what's going on, and he's more amused than surprised. On the arena floor, Buddha is his usual unruffled self. But when Hajun launches an all-out assault, the Enlightened One has got to get serious fast. Round 6 of Ragnarok hurtles towards a finish even the gods could not have foreseen. Red River Omnibus Volume 2. Yuri is embroiled in a romantic tangle between Prince Kyle and his half-sibling Zananza. As Kyle and Yuri fight against the armies of the Prince of Darkness, the fate of the Hittite Empire hangs in the balance, as does Yuri's chance of ever returning home. Snowball Earth Volume 4. Who is the mysterious Colonel Sagami, leader of the band of kaiju tamers, who call themselves the Light of Erd? What role did he have during the final battle against the intergalactic kaiju? These questions linger over the struggle for Mishima Mall as Tetsuro and his newfound friends fight to protect their home. The answers may reveal uncomfortable truths about the kaiju invasion of Earth and a connection between the Colonel and Tetsuro. Steel of the Celestial Shadows Volume 5. The evil entity that has possessed Lord Haritake, the head of the Tsuchimikado clan, has a plan to unseal the Sessho Seki stones and unleash calamity upon the land. As Konosuke hears the truth of the situation, he finally begins to realise what he's fallen into and what is at stake. Tokyo Alien Bros Volume 1. Fuyunosuke Tanaka is a perfectly ordinary college student, except for one thing: he's secretly an alien. He and his brother, Natsutaro, are on a mission to study the people of Earth and evaluate the planet's resources, but adapting to life on this new world might be a bit harder than they bargained for. Trillion Game Volume 3. In order to sell their not-so-AI-powered flower vending business, Haru and Gaku must first conquer the nightlife neighborhood of Kabukicho, where there is a huge market for fancy flower arrangements. Undead Unlock Volume 18. Whether Billy will join the Union or not hinges on the result of a quick-draw duel between him and Fuko. If Fuko wins, she gains a new team member. If she loses, Billy gets Disc, the ancient artifact with the power to rule the world. Will Fuko manage to come out on top? Vagabond Definitive Edition Volume 1. At 17 years of age, Miyamoto Musashi, still known by his childhood name Shinmen Takezo, is a wild young brute just setting out along the way of the sword. In the aftermath of the epic battle of Sekigahara, Takezo finds himself a fugitive survivor on the losing side of the war. Takezo's vicious nature has made him an outcast even in his own village, and he is hunted down like an animal. At this crucial crossroads in Takezo's life, an eccentric monk and a childhood friend are the only ones who can help him find his way. This edition is 728 pages long. Boys Abyss Volume 8. Gen disappears from town, Reiji drops out of school, and Chako's unshakable optimism takes a hit. Meanwhile, Reiji's former teacher, Miss Shiba, finds new ways to meddle in their lives. Plus, Reiji's older brother finally emerges from his room with a surprising request. How Do We Relationship Volume 12. Miwa is trying so hard to make things work with Tamaki, despite the strain their mismatched libidos put on their relationship. Sayako is throwing all her energy into supporting Yuria's dream of becoming a beautician, even though Yuria doesn't seem to want her help at all. They both love their girlfriends so much, but sometimes love isn't enough. JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Part 6 Stone Ocean Volume 8. Weather Forecast is not happy. He unleashes his full power against Poochie and Pale Snake, but others are caught in the crossfire of his attack. Kanjolene and the rest of her friends reach the two men unscathed. From Seven Seas Entertainment, we have Volume 2 of The Lady Knight and the Beast-Eared Child. Olivia was a lone monster subjugator who refused to take on an apprentice until she rescued a young beastkin named Noah. Now they look out for one another in an often brutal world, and in this one Noah continues to work hard on his training every day to become strong like Olivia. As long as they're together, he can do his best. However, the magician Lala wants to take him on as an apprentice and teach him magic. At the very least, maybe she can shed some insight into his current master's mysterious past. A new series called Only I Know the World is Ending, and getting killed by rampaging beasts only makes me stronger. Akira is your average office worker who dies in a not-so-average way. On his way home from work, he is killed by a minotaur. He wakes up back in the office, but the world as he knew it has changed. Mythical beasts and monsters were running amok, destroying everything in their path. Akira discovers that every time he dies, he gets resurrected with the skills he acquired from his previous lives intact. Armed with unlimited lives and an ever-expanding skill set, he now stands in the way of the beasts and their rampaging wave of destruction. Diary of a Female Lead, Shujinko Nikki. This is Volume 2. Aoi only just started her search for the perfect boyfriend with the help of her brother Itsuki and her classmate Sena. But she's already found a prime candidate, Tokunaga, a cute volleyball club member with whom Aoi has had a lot in common. Not wanting to screw up her potential romance before it even starts, she enlists Senna to go on a practice date with her, not realising that Senna on a date is completely different from the Senna she knows from class. Will seeing this new side of Senna awaken something in Aoi? My Kitten is a Picky Eater Volume 2. Thanks to Tayo's diligent care as a new pet owner, Yuki goes from a stray on the streets to the luxurious life of an indoor kitty. Just as Tayo helps Yuki grow, Yuki helps bring Tayo closer to his best friend Tetsu. But then, every cat owner's worst fear happens. Yuki disappears. I abandoned my engagement because my sister is a tragic heroine. Somehow I became entangled with The Righteous Prince Volume 2. Leia's sister, Jill, makes Leia out to be a villain. Suspicious of the rumours, Prince Eric proposes that Leia live with him in the palace as his guard. Witnessing the saintly Leia's honesty and sincerity, he apologises for his rudeness and begins to take an interest in her. Jill, however, is not happy about this, nor is she happy about her own worsening circumstances when the enigmatic Duke Burglane appears. I'll Never Be Your Crown Princess Betrothed Volume 2. Being the fiancée of a prince hasn't been easy for Liddy. While she and Freyd managed to avoid a disastrous situation at the Victory Celebration Ball, more danger is on the horizon. Maximilian, the crown prince of the neighbouring kingdom of Sahaja, is coming to Wilhelm, and tensions are high. The official reason for his visit is to congratulate the happy couple on their engagement, but what is he really after? Karate Survivor in Another World Volume 7. Gravas, the largest city of the Aslart Kingdom. Nomad looks to make a fresh start as an adventurer in this city, brimming with life and opportunities for business and new relationships. But his fresh start sours as he gets into a street fight the moment he arrives, attracting the attention of a local boss. Must brutal violence follow Nomad wherever he goes? The Dragon Knight's Beloved Volume 8. When Lawrence, an official from a neighbouring kingdom, asks for Melissa's hand in marriage, she finds herself at the dead centre of a diplomatic incident. She wants nothing more than to remain with her Hubert and the dragons, but staying there will require an appeal to the king and his court. Sword of the Demon Hunter Volume 6. When a trip to the market goes disastrously wrong, Natsu is suddenly taken over by an unknown personality. It's up to Jinya to get her back to rights, but he may be in over his head. On his search to help Natsu, he is confronted by a diviner known for killing demons. Will this divine seer root out his secret? The Summer You Were There Volume 6. This is the final volume of the series, so go pick this one up to find out how it all ends. Magical buffs, the support caster is stronger than he realised. After an impressive tryout, Wim Strauss is Naklibel's newest interim member. Shortly thereafter, an investigator from the Abenturers Guild arrives to question how a lowly granting sorcerer could have soloed a boss monster. As they prepare for its deepest and most dangerous labyrinth dive yet, the leader sets out to uncover the mystery of Wim's incredible powers. Yokai Cats Volume 9. Meet more yokai cats. The Itsumade can talk, but only knows how to say, "How much longer?" And the Kanadama finds all of the coins in the house, especially the ones that get lost under furniture. A new series called Home Sweet Home, from the author of Rainbow Days. It's a brand new manga with teenage drama and heart-pounding romance, all under one roof. Tired of having to change schools because of her dad's job, Moemi, our first-year high school student, is allowed to stay behind at her parents' home, on the condition that she lives with the daughter of her dad's boss. This girl, however, ends up being a boy, and not just any boy, but one of the most handsome and popular boys at school. Checkmate Volume 2. A malicious rumour started by Park leads to Eun-sung being ostracised from the art scene. Soo-hyun, now a reporter, promises to help repair Eun-sung's reputation so long as he obeys Soo-hyun's every command. Wary of the other man's intentions, Eun-sung decides to go along with this, and the two form an uneasy alliance. However, Soo-hyun doesn't realise that beneath Park's quiet demeanour lurks a dangerous predator. The Missing O Volume 1. This is a mature-rated, full-colour manhwa from Lesin, now available in print. 7 years ago, Eun-sung was plucked from disaster by an enigmatic saviour. What she remembers most isn't the heroic rescue, but what happened next. After winding up in bed with her hero, She didn't catch his name, but she did get the most amazing night in her life. Since then, she searched for the perfect night with countless others, yet it always remains out of reach. Undeterred, Yun-sung continues her pursuit and the mysterious man who holds the key to her ultimate satisfaction. From Tokyo Pop, we're getting Watch Dogs Tokyo Volume 3. This is the final volume of the SciFier series, so go buy it to see how it all ends. Volume 2, I was reincarnated as the heroine on the verge of a bad ending, and I'm determined to fall in love. This is where a dating sim enthusiast wakes up in the body of Rainey Wainwright, an otome heroine in a fantasy game. With the rank exam coming up, it's time for Rainey to buckle down. In spite of her classmates' bullying, she's determined to prove herself to both her schoolmates and her burgeoning love interests. With the help of her new friends and her possessive brother, Julius, she might just have a shot at escaping her F-rank status. A Gentle Noble's Vacation Recommendation Volume 10. This story follows a man called Lysel who finds himself transported from one fantasy world to another, to a city that bears odd similarities to his own but clearly isn't. He's pretty relaxed about it all and decides that until he's able to find a way home, it is the perfect opportunity to explore a new way of life adventuring as part of a guild. Let's Eat Together Aki and Haru Volume 3. Join Aki and Haru as they tackle one of the most perilous tasks two college roommates can face: feeding themselves. Easygoing Aki has mastered the art of affordable home cooking to keep his good friend Haru upbeat and motivated throughout the school year. From homemade ramen to fried chicken to plum liqueur, each season offers a whole new menu. Chewing their way through life's ups and downs, the boys and their friends share in the simple joys of food and youth. Square Enix, The Angel Next Door Always Spoils Me Rotten Volume 3. As if sharing dinner every night wasn't enough, Amane and Mahiru agree to deepen their friendship by spending Christmas Day together. But first, Amane will have to survive a rowdy Christmas Eve party with Itsuki and Chitose, who are on the verge of figuring out his best-kept secret. So those are the manga and manhwa releases for the second half of January. There are a lot there, and my throat is kind of aching, so I'm going to keep this bit short. I hope you find something there that you enjoy. My list of buying things has definitely gotten longer after this. As always, feel free to use the code Jay'sManga to get an extra 5% off at SciFier.com, and I hope you have a fantastic first month of 2025. Bye everyone!